Coming up on Mountain News this morning, Western Kentucky was hit by flooding yesterday, almost 1 year after the eastern part of the Commonwealth dealt with the same. And Attorney General Daniel Cameron announced his running mate yesterday.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning, I'm Olivia Calfee. The time is 6:32 on July 20th. Now let's check in with Chief Forecaster Brandon Robinson on this first alert weather day for a look at your forecast this morning. Now, Brandon, it's a smooth start to the morning.
Exactly. So if you looked outside right now, you'd see a little bit of fog. You'd see a beautiful sunrise in some locations.
Yes.
You're thinking, what severe weather?
Yeah.
That comes later. So again, let's take a look at Lake Cumberland this morning and look at that beautiful sky there. The sun trying to peek through the clouds there as that sun coming up this morning. So a nice pinkish hue out there. But again, it's just one of those days before we see more action start to file in as we head deeper into the afternoon. Temperatures very mild and muggy out there this morning. Temperatures first, though, 61 Clintwood to 74 in Monticello. Look at these dew points. It is soupy out there everywhere except for Clintwood. They're in the 50s this morning. But if you're 60 or above, it's air you can wear for sure. Now, you're going to need some way to get alerts quickly later because of the possibility for severe weather. The First Alert weather app or weather radio is good for that. Scan that QR code there with your phone camera on the top of right part of your screen. Scattered chances for showers and storms start to pick up later into the day. Temperatures should get into the low to mid 80s, but again, it's going to be a muggy one. So stay weather aware and stay alert. We'll have the latest details for you coming up in just a little bit. Olivia?
Thank you, Brandon. A man who is in the hospital after allegedly assaulting a police officer is set to face attempted murder charges once he's released, says the Logan County Sheriff. Investigators in West Virginia say Barry Vaughn and Marlana Adkins were found sitting in a parked car with stolen plates outside a business Tuesday. When officers approached the car, investigators say Vaughn accelerated into the officer. That's when officers fired shots at the car. Adkins was charged with malicious assault on a police officer, among other charges. Vaughn will be charged once he's released from the hospital. A Southern Kentucky man is facing charges following a traffic stop. London police stopped an ATV on South Laurel Road near the Jobs shop on July 6th. In addition to illegally driving the ATV on a public road, officers say 37-year-old Dustin Ray Holland of London was lethargic. When they searched him, they found 5 buprenorphine pills in his pocket. Holland was arrested for DUI along with other charges and was taken to the Laurel County Correctional Center. A Northern Kentucky community came together Tuesday night to remember 2 brothers killed in a tragic boating accident. 18-year-old Chase Fisher and 14-year-old Cole Fisher died last week. The Villa Hills community gathered for a prayer vigil to support the family. Visitation for the brothers will be on Sunday from 2:30 to 6:30 p.m. at St. Joseph Church in Crescent Springs. A mass of Christian burial will be the following day at the same church. And here's a look at what people in Mayfield were dealing with yesterday. Many roads were flooded yesterday night with people unable to leave their homes. We're still getting reports about the extent of the damage. And of course, Mayfield was destroyed by a tornado back in December of 2021. The city's mayor is encouraging people to stay strong.
I'm so proud of the people that live here, but this is a second blow from nature that nobody has any control over. So just hang in there, hang in there. We will see and assess this damage once the floodwaters go down.
Mayor Onen says she knows the people of Mayfield will pull through this just like they've done before. And the devastating floods that hit Western Kentucky yesterday come nearly 1 year after rains brought tragedy to the eastern side of the state. But this time around, they're wanting to give back the same way others did. Julia Sandor spoke to one Appalachian organization that is reaching out to lend a helping hand.
Within the past 2 years, Western Kentucky has felt the pain that comes with a natural disaster. Tornadoes tore through their communities in 2021. Now their community was hurt in a way that's become far too common for the state. Nearly 1 year ago, Eastern Kentucky felt that same wave of pain.
it is still something that's really hard to even kind of like wrap your brain around, like how traumatic it really was.
Apple Shop is just one of the many organizations that are still recovering from the Eastern Kentucky floods. But they say nearly 1 year later, they're able to lend a helping hand.
Being able to offer our perspective on what happens the days after, the months after. So what to look for when FEMA reaches out, things that you should be anticipating. So it's that kind of advice that we unfortunately have firsthand knowledge in order to offer people in similar positions.
They're asking people to reach out to them and share the information of the mutual aid groups that are on the ground now in Western Kentucky.
Especially for Mayfield specifically, having already gone through an extreme weather event and knowing that it's not, recovery doesn't take just a couple of weeks or a couple of months. Like, I mean, it is a long process.
But after months of cleaning up mud and building new foundations, they say this is one of the few silver linings.
We've been through this. We know how scary it is. We know how traumatic it can be. You know, even a year later when the rains come, you have that feeling, but we're going through it together.
Julia Sandor, WKYT.
You can reach out to Apple Shop by sending them an email or visiting their website. Lloyd College in Knott County is making renovations and additions ahead of the upcoming school year. Crews are working to repair retaining walls and bridges along with a new bell tower chapel. President Jim Stepp says they will get as many renovations done as possible before the school year, but it could continue as they complete everything.
We'll be continuing projects. Our goal here, ultimately, we want to provide a quality, character-based education for students. We want to give them that opportunity here. And along with that, we want to have the best of facilities.
Classes on campus will begin for students on August 15th. The governor's race for the November election is officially set, and yesterday, Attorney General Daniel Cameron announced Senator Robbie Mills as his running mate. And Tuesday, Lieutenant Governor Jacqueline Coleman filed for re-election to run with Governor Andy Beshear. This election is one that's getting national attention. Grayson Passamore has your campaign 2023 coverage.
State Senator Robbie Mills.
By choosing a state senator, Cameron took a relatively predictable and safe route.
Dr. Voss says Cameron didn't go for a surprise candidacy here.
Cameron has wanted this race to be about national hot button issues, about the cultural changes that have been happening in the 21st century that aren't terribly popular with a lot of Kentucky voters. So he's stressed the positions that Mills has taken in the past on legislation that involved cultural conservatism.
Mills is well known for his legislation to ban transgender girls and women from playing on sports teams that align with their gender identity, which passed in 2022. This year, he backed a bill that bans TikTok from state devices and a bill that made hazing a felony. And most recently, Mills defended his vote for Senate Bill 150, which bans gender-affirming health care for transgender youth, among other issues.
Where Kentuckians tend to be conservative, Mills helps punctuate that, helps reinforce it. His cultural conservative credentials allow Cameron to reinforce the conservative message that they've tried to make the campaign about.
Mills also has the ties to Western Kentucky that Cameron lacks. But Dr. Voss says Beshear's campaign will highlight Mills' role in a controversial teacher pension bill.
One of the main points of attack on Governor Matt Bevin was his role in trying to adjust teacher pensions, pensions for teachers. So by having Mills, somebody who was part of Bevin's effort on pensions, joined to the Republican ticket, it allows Beshear essentially to relitigate the 2019 campaign, which he won.
Dr. Voss says while the Republican campaign will primarily focus on the national hot-button issues, Governor Beshear and Lieutenant Governor Coleman will take the opposite approach and focus on in-state issues and highlight the Beshear administration's responses to natural disasters and the COVID pandemic. Workers for UPS held a practice picket yesterday in Hazard. It was part of a lead up to what may become a strike by Teamsters, the union representing nearly 340,000 UPS workers. The two sides would need to agree on a new labor contract before midnight July 31st to avoid a strike. The workers have held practice picket rallies across the country. Teamsters Local Union 651 President James Brandt says the goal is to prepare for August 1st.
This entire building of workers is 100% united in striking and hitting this pavement on August 1st if they need to. And nationwide, we are united.
Numerous issues have been raised, but one is pay for part-time workers. About 60% of UPS workers are part-time, and they say they are not receiving a livable wage.
.43 here on this First Alert Weather Day Thursday. We're still tracking a little bit of rain across parts of southern Kentucky into parts of middle and eastern Tennessee. Not really impacting anybody but Wayne County right now, so we're keeping a close eye on that. Just a few light showers down that way. Lots of lightning with some of those storms, but those are mostly in Tennessee this morning. Mount Vernon along I-75. Some light traffic as people head back and forth. Some cloud cover too. A lot of clouds in that part of the state this morning. So again, just watch out for that. Temperatures still fairly mild. Dew points up there too, 60s and 70s across the region this morning. Not moved a whole lot, 61 in Clintwood to 74 in Monticello, kind of our range. Headlines for today. First Alert Weather Day in effect until further notice. We're going to continue to watch the possibility for some strong storms later, but after that, we're going to see a fairly nice weekend for summertime with lower humidity and dew points once that cold front passes. Time is coming up on 6:44. You're watching Mountain News This Morning right here on WYMT.